Hey guys, my name's Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, guys, I'm going to shoot a teardown and disassembly video on an Acer Aspire 5, the A515 series laptop. This way, hopefully you'll see whatever component you're trying to reach. I'll take you on a little tour going inside on the various things that you can access. So first thing, guys, power down your computer the correct way. Make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're going to flip it over to access your bottom case screws. Now you have these 5 along this edge, these 3 down here on this edge, and then these 3 across the middle. So quite a lot of screws here. After you get those screws out, guys, use a small, flat, preferably plastic pry tool. Go all the way around the seam and gently but firmly pry off this bottom case from the rest of the computer. And if you get stuck somewhere, don't keep forcing it. Go the other direction, meet in the middle, and in doing that, you'll get this bottom case off. After you do, guys, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, just as a general rule, guys, before I go touching anything inside a computer, I like to either remove or at least unplug my battery. The idea is to get as little power running through the computer as possible to avoid damaging anything. Here's your battery down here. This is a 15.4 volt, 54.6 watt hour battery most of you will have in this model. It's got 2 screws on either side if you want to physically remove it. And it's got the battery plug right here that in this shot looks kind of purple. So in order to unplug it, you would remove this black piece of tape. And instead of pulling on the wires, guys, I always recommend not pulling on wires. Instead, put your fingernail on either side of this port or use a pry tool on either side of the port and just wiggle it out left, right, until you can get that out of the motherboard. Okay, so after your battery has been removed or at least unplugged, we can proceed further into the computer. The next thing I'll show you right here on the right-hand side, guys, this blue board, that's your M.2 solid-state drive port. Now, if you want to replace that or upgrade it, there's a single screw right here down bottom of the board. Once you remove that screw, you can pull it out of this port right here. And really quickly, guys, the solid state drive, the battery, every component in this computer that you may want to upgrade or replace, as well as any tools you need to do so. There'll be a link above, also below in the description, to a list of parts and tools that you may need for this model computer. So moving on from the solid state drive, guys, this is your RAM port right here, your single and only RAM port in the computer. Most of you will have 8 gigabytes of onboard RAM that come integrated into this motherboard. So this port will be not for your RAM, but for additional RAM that you want to add. So the way to get the RAM out, guys, there's a metal spring-loaded arm on the top and the bottom. What you would do is you would pull those gently apart from each other, away from the RAM. The RAM would release. Sometimes it'll even pop up a little bit and you can unplug it from that port. To get the RAM stick in there, you can only insert it the correct way because you'll have the long side here and the short side here on the bottom. So you can only put that RAM stick in the correct way. You would put it in there, get it nice and flush, and then press it down, and those metal arms would click on and secure it into place. And again, RAM replacements or upgrade ideas will be below in the description. The next thing, guys, this is your Wi-Fi card right here under your fan. It's held in kind of like the solid state drive. There's a single screw right here. And then your antenna wire, the black and white wires that come through this hinge assembly, the antenna wire come down and snap on top of the Wi-Fi card. So to remove those, you just pull them straight up out of the computer. They'll unsnap from the card. You unscrew that screw and the Wi-Fi card can slide out of this port right there. Talking intro. The next thing, guys, your speakers. You have a left speaker right here and a right speaker here. Unlike other models, they don't connect to each other by a wire going down the length of the computer. They each plug into the board. So this plugs into the USB board here. This one plugs into the motherboard right there. And it's the same kind of plug. It's small and there's a grip on either side of the plug. Don't pull that wire and don't grab the speaker and pull. Sometimes you can damage these. So put your fingernails or a small pry tool on either side of those grips and then out one at a time, side by side, just like your battery, and you can unplug those. But that's how you would access and get your speakers out. As far as the USB board, guys, is a single screw here. You can get that USB board out. And then this is your keyboard ribbon cable if you need to access that keyboard. Up here is your LCD cable. Sometimes they come in from the hinge assembly and they go all over the place. This one, they didn't waste any wire at all here. It came in and plugged right into the motherboard right there. Kind of interesting how they did that. And then the last thing, guys, this is your heatsink assembly right here. Your fan, this is your vent, and the heatsink goes over your CPU right there. To get the fan off, you have a screw here and a screw here, and the fan plugs in with this black long wire that plugs in right there. It's funny that they brought the LCD cable right to the motherboard, but this one, they had it just needlessly long. So you would take up this black tape there, and this, just like your speaker plug, you would put your fingernails or a pry tool on either side, and you would get that out of the port. To get your heatsink assembly up, you have these 3 screws here that would get up your heatsink assembly. As a side note, guys, if you're here to clean this out, maybe you're having overheating problems, make sure to blow out or vacuum out your fan and your vent really well. And then you may want to reapply thermal paste here. There'll be a video link above, also below in the description, a quick tutorial on how to reapply thermal paste the correct way after cleaning the old stuff off. So that was a quick tour, but it hit most of the major components that you would have to reach in this computer for most things that you would do. If you have any questions, check out the FAQs below in the description. It could save you some time getting an answer. If you do need to leave me a question or comment, though, I do try to check those very often. And again, any replacement parts or upgrade parts for this A515 model, there'll be a link below in the description on all these parts that you need for this computer. So I hope that was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.